The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op.
Hello and welcome.
You changed it up on me. I didn't like that.
To the Trap Nerd Sports Podcast.
Don't do that ever again.
I'm gonna write down 10 different ways to introduce podcasts and come through every week with a new one.
Please don't do that.
I'm not gonna do that.
Thank God.
I don't think there is 10. No, whatever. Welcome to the Trap Nerd Sports Podcast.
I'm your host, Duke Clark.
There you go. Next to me, Harry.
What's up?
I love the Ken Griffey shirt.
Yeah, I got the kid on me, you know what I mean?
Greatest of all time.
You know it.
That didn't take steroids at least. And Joe. Hoodie's cool too.
Thanks, man.
No problem, man.
I like your hat.
Thank you. We're being nice to each other this week, apparently, and it's Super Bowl week. Football, it's not gonna be over. I mean, draft season's awesome, but it feels like yesterday we were begging for the football season to start.
It goes so fast.
The last couple weeks of the summer, where we're like, what the fuck do we talk about? And then finally football gets around, and now it's done.
Yeah, now we're just on Super Bowl week.
Well, it's not done, but it will be done. But before we get into the Super Bowl, a couple more coaching hires since we were last here. And once again, Bill Belichick is not a head coach. Mike Vrabel is not a head coach. My favorite hiring of this entire time is Mike Macdonald to the Seahawks.
You like that one?
I love that one. I know I'm always on here saying don't hire defensive head coaches, go offense. But if there's one guy who is an exception to that in my mind, it's Mike Macdonald. The offense is going to, it's the Shanahan tree. Most of the NFL is trying to find some type of way to implement what Shanahan has done over the past decade, basically. McVay, between McVay and Shanahan, how many Super Bowl appearances they have. Most of the NFL is doing that, and Macdonald, it's been a small sample size, but he's been the most successful defending those teams.
Yeah.
His schemes, no one knows where the blitz is coming from. He confuses everybody. I know they lost to the Chiefs, but they held Mahomes to 17 points.
Yeah, they couldn't really move the ball in the second half.
No, they just need a quarterback. They'll be a threat.
They'll probably take one, too. What pick do they have, do you know?
It's a great question.
It's probably 18 or something.
They didn't make the playoffs, so
I'll look real quick.
18's the worst they could have.
They're probably around that spot, 17, 18. They hired Harbaugh's son for offense or defensive coordinator. I can't remember. I think offensive coordinator. But, Seattle's definitely got to making good moves as coaches with the coach in Washington. I don't like their moves as much. What do you think of theirs?
I hate Washington's moves. I tweeted at the beginning of all of this, before all these coaches were hired, I was like, Washington's that might be the most attractive job.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the Seahawks, love the hiring, but it's you still have a lot of difficulty making that team into a division leader and then a Super Bowl leader. It's not that they don't have talent, but they're in the quarterback dead zone. I mean, maybe they draft a guy like Nix or McCarthy, or maybe even Penix.
Well, I can really see McCarthy going there now that Harbaugh's son.
And maybe those guys hit. Maybe whoever they draft ends up being a guy that can at least do what Purdy does, or be a good enough quarterback that if you build the team around him can make you a contender. But it's just a dead zone. It's just as good of a chance that guy is out of the NFL in 5 years, or not a starter in 5 years, as it is that they're good at that point. So with Washington, it was you got a new owner, because that's always been the bad part of Washington. The owner in the stadium, no one wanted to be there because the owner in the stadium, two worst in the league, arguably. They get a new owner, who is shown to be
They got pick 16.
Yeah, so it's who's gonna be there? They got a new owner who they've already basically, it hasn't been signed or anything, but it's almost guaranteed that they're gonna get a new stadium in the next 5 years. They have the owner is hiring all the right people analytically wise, however you're supposed to say that. I think it was Bob, one of the NBA, I think it was Golden State's Bob Myers or something. He's bringing in smart people.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, they're gonna hire the right head coach. They're gonna get Drake May or Caleb Williams. That's the best job in the NFL.
Right.
And then they fucking hire Dan Quinn, who's been great as a defensive coordinator, but we've already seen him as a head coach.
He just got shredded by Love and Jordan Love's first playoff game and made no adjustments the whole game. Now he's taking over a team. But then you let go of Eric Bieniemy to bring in Cliff Kingsbury, which to me makes no sense unless you know you're getting Caleb Williams and like there's something behind closed doors where like Caleb Williams is like, I'll come play for you guys, get me my offensive coordinator. I love this guy. But if Caleb Williams isn't there and there's nothing behind that, I don't see how you ever get rid of Eric Bieniemy for Cliff Kingsbury.
Eric Bieniemy was like one of the moves made like, hey, like Ron Rivera's been bad. The moment he's bad again, we can fire him, and we have.
That's what I thought he would take over as a head coach, and now he's not even on the coaching staff. I don't know. I wonder where he's going to go. Honestly,
it's really unexplainable to me. Like, if anything, hire him as the head coach. And it's been years of this with Bieniemy, so maybe there's something that we don't know, like the years of people like not taking him, but it's. I don't know. All the moves they've made have made no sense to me whatsoever. Like, the whole league's going towards these younger guys, these guys who are gonna. And I think there's rumors that Slowick or whatever his name is, like those guys might have turned the job down. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, if you're gonna go with an established guy, at least go to like Belichick, in my opinion. Like, I get it, and we can talk about why he doesn't have a job, but I just don't get it. Like, Dan Quinn, he was the coach for the Falcons when they made the Super Bowl, right?
Maybe.
I think he was the head coach in Kyle Shanahan. Am I wrong?
You might be right. I
need to look that up. But they collapsed in the
there's
Super Bowl.
something with Washington too. Detroit's either their offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator, when he went for the interview with Washington, he like hated everything that they had to say. Basically, he was like talking real bad about them after the interview.
Yeah, he was the head coach. He made the Super Bowl the second year.
Oh, I guess that's cool that he's got that going for him.
Well, I mean, but it was the biggest collapse in history, and they didn't really do much after that. And I don't know, man. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, especially in that division. It's one of the toughest divisions in football. Still moving forward, like I think you got to hit on you got to hit on all your picks. You got to hit on what coaches are going to lead the team, and I don't think those guys will be able to contend with the Eagles or Cowboys, or even the Giants, depending on what they do moving forward. It's not like they're a horrible team. They have good players if they make the right moves as well. So.
Yeah, and specifically with Cliff Kingsbury, it's like I saw someone share a meme. It's like he's the stereotypical or the poster child for fouling up. Like, he was a coach at Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Sure, they break records, but like they've always been that way. He gets a job in the NFL, which I didn't hate. It's like, give him a shot. Like, could be this innovator. Sucks. Does awful with the Cardinals. Where they go like 10-1, and then since then have been like the worst team in the league. And then he gets a job at USC. Okay, once again, the offense works in college, but you have
which
Caleb
still
Williams.
Didn't even do like.
Wait, he worked.
He was offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and they had like a pretty lousy year for what they were supposed to have.
But their offense was not the problem.
No, but they still weren't like clicking the way they were the year before. Was he the coordinator the year before too?
No, he was on the Cardinals, I think.
Yeah, he lost his job.
Oh no, he took a year off, didn't he?
I don't know.
He got fired mid-year. I'm almost certain he got fired mid-year last year.
He went to like Taiwan.
Because this is Gannon's first year.
Thailand. He went to Thailand.
So
that's what he did.
Caleb went from winning Heisman to
bad tie.
He went from winning Heisman to not even being a finalist or even close to being a finalist this year. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know. And then he just like walks into a coordinator job where, I mean,
he did downgrade.
All these reports.
He did downgrade.
What do you mean?
Like from head coach to offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but I mean, just like you got Bieniemy. You just, I don't know. You got all these guys. I guess like
I don't know how they got rid of Bieniemy.
Yeah, I wonder if he didn't want to be there. All Schefter said is he will not return to for Washington on the coaching staff. They didn't say like he was fired, let go, or that he quit. So
he probably quit.
Yeah, maybe he just.
He said, wilding over here.
I wonder what he's gonna do now though.
Go back to the Chiefs.
Yeah, I guess that'd be.
Some team's just gonna hire like a hodgepodge of like Bill Belichick head coach, Vrabel defensive coordinator, Bieniemy offensive coordinator.
Yeah, like I don't know why they wouldn't.
I just don't.
So is there any head coaching jobs open now?
I don't believe so.
So like Belichick and Vrabel just won't be head coaches this year?
They said it was a meme, but they said Vrabel doesn't have a job because he's too big of a person.
Yeah,
like he's large.
that would be funny though. Belichick head coach, Vrabel defensive coach, and Bieniemy offensive coordinator.
The thing
if they were smart, they should go link up, and they probably win a chip real quick.
The thing with Belichick has to be that he must be demanding roster control.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Or teams are just getting smart and realizing that the old style of coaching is just done.
I get
I can't even
that,
think of
but
teams that need him anymore. That like need a coach.
I mean, I get the old style of coaching is done, but like as a coach, he still was one of the best defensive teams in the league last year. When realistically they shouldn't have been. Like,
Right.
Their
I see he's
defense
going
was
to
on the
Michigan.
field a lot.
No, they already.
Michigan
Oh yeah,
and
they hired Shamir Douglas or whoever was taking over for Harbaugh last year.
But at least go to like a team like Washington that needs like that culture. Like they're so far away from a championship. It's like they need that like Tom Thibodeau to walk in and be like, this is how you play winning football or whatever. I don't know. Like at least a team like that. If the Bills were fucking a 5-win team, even if I knew he was retiring in 3 years, I'd be like, yeah, bring him in here, teach the guys how to win. But if he wanted roster control, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I think that's what he
at,
wants is like control of the team. He probably wants more money than most of these other.
It was
coaches
nice though.
are gonna get.
He picked up Cole Strange. It was like a all-pro.
He was good. Actually, he was good after everyone clowned him. But he also drafted N'Keal Harry and Mac Jones and all these other dudes. And like
so Mac Jones and the
Brady's-
man gonna have a job, huh?
I think
They're
Mac
gonna take
Jones,
backup.
Mac Jones will come.
I think Mac Jones should be a solid backup in the league. Like I don't think he'll ever.
He's definitely a good backup.
Yeah, I don't think he'll ever hurt for.
He's
a
probably
job
one
there.
of a top backup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you could win games and you have experience starting games, you're like basically a top 5 backup immediately.
Right.
I don't know. Like it is his fault. Like it's his fault the roster that he constructed. Me and Tank had a little argument about this yesterday. Like, why wouldn't you want Bill Belichick running your team? He's the greatest. It's like, yeah, but he's
Don't
not
the Colts
anymore.
need a coach?
No,
No,
Steichen.
they got a real good coach.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
You just if he was good at building teams, his coaching isn't what fell off after Brady. It was building the team.
Mhm.
Like it's because they didn't have the talent. It didn't matter how
Right.
good of a coach you weren't gonna win games. But yeah, I don't know. It's strange to me, especially like a team like Washington who needs like hype. If he breaks the record with you guys, I felt like that would be good for you. And then you just go hire Quinn. I understand why the Falcons, they go super young. They get a guy from they get Zach Robinson, who if he ends up being the next McVay or whatever, an offensive coordinator.
Who's the Saints coach?
Dennis Allen, same guy that's been there since Peyton left. Even though it's like, why does he still have a job? They just consistently.
I think it's because they consistently compete with a mediocre team. I think
in
they
that
like him.
division, though.
Yeah, that's true too.
And he's like made the decision to start.
And their roster's pretty good. Like I don't know why
They kind of stink.
just Derek Carr.
I mean, their offensive line's not bad. Chris Olave. I mean, Michael Thomas is
Michael
finally
Thomas
healthy
is
this
really
year.
never healthy though.
Kamara.
He was
He
this
still
year,
missed
right?
a lot of games.
Did he?
Mm.
How many games did he miss?
I think he missed like most of the end of the season.
Kamara was really good.
Yeah, but he was suspended for 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, the first 6.
Yeah, so it's hard to win 6 football games without him.
Yeah,
I guess they run it back. Yeah.
Whatever. Mike Macdonald, I think, still best hire of the.
Michael Thomas only had 39 catches. He couldn't have been that healthy. It looks like he played.
I think he missed like 8 games, 9 games.
I'll
He
tell
played
you,
10 games. So
I'll
yeah,
tell
it's
you
like.
what. There's not a team I paid attention to less, other than the Panthers and the Saints.
Yeah, the NFC South, I don't watch.
Who's the Panthers coach?
They just hired,
they hired Sean Canales, which a lot of people
Oh
like.
yeah.
I don't know anything about him, but apparently it's a good hire.
Where'd he come from?
Great question.
He was a coordinator or something somewhere. I thought. You guys also. They're having the first ever game in Brazil, week 1, Friday.
Oh yeah, Friday.
Eagles are playing somebody. The Packers are a possibility because they're going to Philly this year because it's a Philly home game. So it's like Packers, Steelers, Browns, the 3 division opponents, and a couple other teams are the possibility to go to Brazil on Friday.
Crazy.
Yeah. So
I like that the NFL's expanding like
this
that.
one must be a Thursday opening game, a Friday game in Brazil, and that should be pretty
Dave
cool.
Canales, my bad. He's the he was the offensive coordinator of the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers. Okay.
He was with the Saints, I believe, for
So,
most
yeah,
of
they
his
had-
career. Seahawks
He
for
had
most of his
Baker
career.
looking like an MVP. So.
I think it's disrespectful to not for Vrabel or Belichick to not have a job.
It's
It's
super
probably-
disrespectful for Vrabel.
It's probably their fault, though. I'm assuming.
Yeah, but I don't see how.
You think about
Vrabel
what
even got
Carolina's
fired.
probably paying this dude. They're probably giving this dude nothing compared to what Vrabel would ask for. This
Right.
dude just wants to be a head coach. Vrabel did the A.J. Brown trade, I heard, was the beginning of the downfall of why him and the GM got fired, because their mishandling of keeping A.J. Brown or not getting enough for him in the trade. I didn't really read into it, but that was a big thing.
And then Belichick was with Tom Brady.
Belichick was, letting Tom Brady, convincing Robert Kraft that Brady couldn't play anymore, and then he goes and wins a Super Bowl. And just like Duke was saying, I mean, just look at the way this dude runs the team. I wouldn't want Belichick. Unless he was the Packers' defense, like if we hired him as our defensive coordinator, obviously, of course, but I wouldn't have wanted him as our head coach. Give me this dude from Tampa Bay. Like, I want somebody young and new. I don't want Belichick. You tell me this dude recovers a fumble, goes to give Belichick the ball, and he like does this to him. Like, that shit will always stick out to me.
You always bring that up.
Because the way the game is now, like people say like how the world's like soft now, and you got all these different like issues going on, but like that's just what it is now. And like you probably see memes of Bill Belichick doing shit like that. Like when you look at somebody like Mike Macdonald or the defensive coordinator the Ravens just promoted, I think Zach Orr is his name.
Yeah.
The players are ready to do anything for these dudes, but they're also like they like know how to interact with them. Matt LaFleur, one thing I love about him in the post game, he's always in the locker room dancing, and like the players are spazzing with him. He's like chest bumping people. Like Belichick ain't doing that. I understand he's old and shit, but like it's just that shit don't work no more. I'm sorry. Like players aren't going to go out of their way to give you their all, in my opinion. The way they will for some of these other young coaches. So I'm all set on Belichick. Vrabel seems like he gets the most out of his guys, so I wonder why he didn't get a job. Maybe he turned something down. Or
no quarterback.
Yeah, I don't.
When did he ever have like a good quarterback? I mean, Tannehill, but like.
No, I agree. I don't know why he doesn't have a job, if it's money or if he just didn't like the opportunities that were open. Maybe he's waiting. I know the Eagles are going after Belichick if Sirianni don't work out. Maybe Belichick's waiting to see if that happens because they have a really good team.
Because he turned down Atlanta.
So, yeah, I'm curious to see.
Well, we don't know if he turned it down.
Atlanta said that the job was his if he wants it.
They did say that?
Yeah, and then then they hired that. Who did they hire?
Raheem Morris.
Yeah.
Which I love what they did way more than if they would have got Belichick. Because then what would he have done? Hired his son, who I don't know if we said he went to Washington. But, like, I don't know. I'm all set on that.
Yeah, I mean, and realistically, they're going. Both of those guys are going. And it's not weird for Belichick because he's older, but they're going the opposite way of the league. I mean, they're run first guys. You talk about trading A.J. Brown. It's like
but Vrabel had to be run first. He had Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but he also traded A.J. Brown, so he really had to run more.
And it's like I don't care if you don't have a quarterback. If you don't have a quarterback, your number one priority is getting a quarterback, and you couldn't give me enough to get rid of a guy like A.J. Brown. If we're lucky enough to draft a quarterback, I want A.J. Brown to be there for the development of him.
Yeah, and Will Levis doesn't look bad. What if he had A.J. Brown instead of a washed DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I know you drafted Treylon Burks. I understand like he hasn't panned out yet, but again, A.J. Brown already was established.
Yeah,
so there was no reason to go get Hopkins or draft Treylon Burks. You just make A.J. Brown happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. And now Derrick Henry's about to be gone.
Yeah.
So.
Where's he going?
I know he's talking to James Cook about where's the best wings at in Buffalo.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, I said that to the thing. You be ignoring our messages.
I don't see how we finagle signing him, but like, why the fuck else is he visiting
He might take
Buffalo?
a little cut.
Yeah.
If I'm worth millions and I got a very short amount of time of like where I don't have
he would
to
just
be
take
training,
James Cook job.
I'm in Aruba.
I don't know. I mean,
It's a perfect change of pace.
I feel like it would be such a perfect change of pace. Yeah. And even Derrick Henry at this point of his career, like he's not doing 250 carries. He can't do that anymore. Like so James Cook would still, I think, get a good amount of touches still. I don't know. I think that would be a great move for Buffalo.
And how do you defend that? Like
that's what I was saying when the rumors were before.
Yeah.
As long as he's cheap, I'm assuming he would be very cheap.
Especially now that Cook is
still.
good. Like you can't stack the box against. You stack the box against Derrick Henry, and then for some reason Cook's out there, and now like he's open in the flat. Like how do you defend that?
You guys are taking chances on Leonard Fournette and Latavius Murray. I don't see why, unless Derrick Henry still wants a good contract.
I feel like he's gonna do what Hopkins did. It's gonna be rumored, and then he's gonna come talk to us, and he's gonna be like, I just want $13 million for my last year.
Yeah, and then Buffalo will say no, obviously, and then I understand. But if they can get him on a real cheap deal, obviously not as cheap as Fournette and Latavius, I get that, but. I think that'd be huge for the Bills' offense, especially in the come playoff time. I just feel like late in games, like Derrick Henry would be a huge piece to the offense.
I mean, James Cook was the reason we almost beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like he was phenomenal.
And then the fourth quarter, he kind of started getting shut down. Maybe Henry could have made some plays. I think Baltimore would be a great spot for Henry because they keep getting running backs injured. You know what I mean? Like
he'll be done.
if you have Gus Edwards running the way that he did, like imagine what Henry would do in that offense.
All the running backs in Baltimore always get hurt. I wonder why.
I don't know. Just it seems like bad luck. Like even Keaton Mitchell's injury was wild.
Yeah.
Like
they're just cursed at running back.
we didn't mention Greg Roman went to the Chargers for their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
People hate Greg Roman. I liked him when he was at the Bills. I think he did the most with like what we had.
Didn't he have Lamar's best season?
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be great over there.
He kind of fizzled out. He kind of got like stale with the Ravens, and I think that's why Ravens fans hated him. He didn't really the Ravens kind of got figured out by the rest of the NFL, and
yeah, they didn't really have the receivers to even try it.
Yeah.
He didn't have Zay Flowers. He didn't have Likely. Well, I guess he had Likely last year if he was still there. But still, it's like he didn't have the weapons that Lamar had this year, which still weren't the best weapons, but they're way better than anything Greg Roman ever worked with. So I think he'll be good with the Chargers.
Completely different type of offense, but we'll see what he
Herbert might run more this year. That should be nuts for fantasy.
Just dies immediately.
That'd be crazy.
That team is also they have a worse cap situation than us.
Oh really?
So it's like cool you get Harbaugh, but like you're in a worse cap situation than the Bills, and we like made the playoffs and won a game.
Both teams have good rosters. I don't really think they need too much. You work with the draft. Chargers have a top 6 or 7 pick,
Yeah.
so I don't think the cap's really too much of an issue for Buffalo.
Top 6 or 7?
Yeah, they're gonna get Narbers or Duze is all I see mocked in Bowers.
Yeah.
Which I think Bowers would be the move for me, but all of them have him mocked really taking the receiver, and I like a Duze or whatever.
I think they're gonna cut Mike Williams. That's why they might cut both, bro. Like they're really bad cat.
Jim Harbaugh said Keenan Allen is a plan as part of this team. You have him.
Mike Williams is gone.
Yeah, Mike Williams gets hurt all the time, and he is a great receiver, and I think he still can go and do something somewhere. But like Keenan Allen's that dude still.
Yeah.
Like he gets hurt, but when he's healthy, he'll get hurt and still be like top 3 in the league in catches, and he'll miss half the year. Like it's nuts how he does that. Mike Williams, I think you can get rid of Mike Williams, draft a receiver.
If they can get rid of him, I think he's gone. I don't know what the cap hit's looking like, but I feel like Harbaugh's more of like a run it down your throat. Like he wants a more traditional runner. I feel like
they're probably going to go Corum.
They don't have a running back to do that with.
Corum.
There's running backs everywhere.
Yeah, but Corum's a good 3rd, 4th round pick. That he's not viewed as a guy who. Yeah. I mean, maybe he can, and I'm hoping Green Bay takes him.
Yeah, but he was hurt last year. That's why didn't his draft stock go down?
No, he was healthy all year. He crushed. He broke the Michigan record. Yeah.
Really?
He had the most touchdowns in Michigan history.
Wow.
He broke it in the Rose Bowl with the game winner. That was like 27 or some shit.
Yeah, it was nuts.
He tore his ACL late the year before, and instead of going to the NFL, he said, "Let's run it back." Came back, got a title. Like it was a cool story. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Corum. Like I said, I would love for Green Bay to get him, and A.J. Dillon can go is fine. But I can't see him just being like, "Oh, the Chargers want to run every down." We got Corum, Josh Kelly, Larry Roundtree, and Isaiah Spiller. Like we're ready to go. I don't think that's
but Eckler
gonna
at
happen.
times this year already looked like he didn't have it like he used to, and if his cap hit is bad, and they can get rid of him without taking out a lot of dead cap, I don't think it's a question.
I don't mind it. But like week 1, he had like 16 carries for 100 yards versus the Dolphins, and then he got hurt. And I know injuries have been a big problem for him, but like he looked really good running the football week 1, and then the rest of the year he never seemed like he was himself again.
Yeah, but when you're in that situation, and it's like they do have a good roster and just had a lot of injuries, but at end of the day, 5-win team,
no, I know,
6-win team, whatever they had, you're a new coach. This year is not about winning the Super Bowl. This year is about like installing the culture that he wants to do. And from everything I've heard about him, is he's the type of guy who like practices that extra 30 minutes that most coaches don't do. Like he runs the ball to set up the pass. And I don't think Eckler fits. And if you can also save $12 million on your cap, when you're over $55 million, you're gonna cut him.
I just don't think this dude could come over here and be like, we're gonna be a run first team when we have Justin Herbert. To me, that would be just a stupid hire on the Chargers' part. Then
not really. I'm not saying like run first, like you're gonna run more than you pass, but like you're gonna use the run to set up the play action.
Yeah, and Herbert does deserve a better run game than he's ever had. I agree. I think people are just over.
Look at the Chiefs. They had Mahomes, but they were not for the whole season, but playoffs just run first. They set up the pass.
Kareem Hunt had good years early on for Mahomes, but I just think when you have Herbert, I don't think the team can just be like this heavy run team that I think people expect them to be, and I think that's where Eckler would still fit in, is because I still think he'll have.
Yeah, I get
being the pass catcher that he is. We'll see. I mean, like I said, if they could save however much money, then sure. I mean, I don't mind. I don't even think Eckler's really that great. I just think he's a great receiver, which was why people love him for fantasy. But
Yeah.
I don't know that he's like some amazing real NFL player at this point of his career, the last couple of years. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be. There's gonna be a lot of people off that team.
They should go get Derrick Henry.
I mean, yeah, if they cut enough people.
If
and
they cut
can offer
Eckler
a
or Mike Williams or
contract,
something, yeah. But
that's like the coaching carousel for
Packers
now.
got their defensive coordinator. We talked about that last.
We
Was
did
that
talk
last
about
week?
that last week. Oh, the Bill, and then we talked about the Bills hired that Bobby Babich guy.
Oh yeah, see, you
linebackers
guys hired
coach.
him. I don't know if Green Bay hired our defensive coordinator at the time, but I don't know much about him. Anyways, he was Boston College's head coach, so I guess we did offer Zach Orr the job. He was the guy we wanted, and then Baltimore promoted him. So we wanted your guys' defensive coordinator and Baltimore's. Both got promoted, and then LaFleur grabbed this dude. I guess is like a friend of his, like a lifelong friend. I don't know. We'll see though. He's going. We're going into a 4-3, which I rather be in.
Yeah.
And he was a head coach of Boston College. They made 3 bowls in 4 years. Now he's only got to focus on like one spot on the field. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Can't be worse than Joe Barry. So.
Yeah, I hate getting like the third or fourth option.
Yeah.
Like, it just never. I mean, more like defensive coordinator might not be as big of a deal, but like I remember the Bills back in the day before they got McDermott. They would like be after these like good coaches, and then they would be like, I don't want to go to fucking Buffalo, and then we'd get like Doug Marrone, like,
right?
Like,
yeah.
literally. But moving on to the bigger story of the week, Super Bowl. Once again, the Chiefs versus the 49ers.
This should be an amazing game.
3 years ago? 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, the Chiefs defeated the 49ers. 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
It was 3 years ago.
It wasn't 2 years ago.
3?
I think so.
Yeah, because the Chiefs won last year. They didn't win back-to-back. So it had to be 3 years ago.
So it was Chiefs,
49ers, and then
Rams.
Bucks, Chiefs, was it?
Oh,
No,
it was 4 years
ago.
ago. Holy fuck.
No.
Had to have been.
No, he won after he lost, right?
No, I thought he won, and then, I don't know.
Because the Rams...
No, it was Chiefs 49ers first because we lost to the 49ers, then we lost to the Bucks.
Oh, that was the year we played them in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
Which was 2 years ago was 13 seconds, and then 3 years ago was AFC Championship.
The year of the Bucks and Chiefs was the year that it was Chiefs and the year that it was Chiefs and Bucks was the year you guys got beat in the AFC Championship and Brady beat us because I had them over. We thought Packers Bills Super Bowl possibility. Right. The 13-second year was the year that it was Bengals and Rams.
Oh yeah, and then so when was the 49ers was the year before the Bucks?
Yeah.
Okay.
So was that
4 years?
3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, it was Chiefs 49ers, Chiefs Bucks, Rams Bengals, and now this.
No, Chiefs Eagles.
Oh, the Chiefs Eagles.
So it was
4 years ago.
Holy
yeah.
shit!
I knew it.
Damn, don't sound right.
COVID, bro. Fucks with your brains.
Might have been 5 years ago.
It wasn't 5 years ago. Because 5 years ago was. All right, let's.
Where's Michael when we need him, man?
This is bothering me. All right, so last year Chiefs Eagles.
Yeah, let's
year
see if you
before
can get
that
it.
was
Chiefs Eagles last year.
Rams Bengals. The year before that was.
Was it Rams Bengals?
Yep.
Yeah. The year before that was
yeah, we were
Chiefs.
right. It was Bucks, Chiefs, and Chiefs Niners. So we were right. I don't know why we got
Chiefs
confused.
Niners was first or not?
Chiefs Niners was 2020. Well, 2019, but played in 2020. Then
So
Bucks,
it was 4 years
Chiefs.
ago.
Okay.
Then
All
Rams. Then Chiefs, and then Chiefs again.
All right.
Chiefs.
I feel like I just had a stroke.
So 1, 2, 3. The Chiefs been in 4 of the last 5 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Those are nice.
Unbelievable.
They asked Patrick Mahomes to do his best Kermit the Frog impression. He was like, "Oh, I'm just talking." Or he like used his regular voice. That shit was funny. I like Mahomes, man. That's my guy. You like him?
You're a Chiefs fan?
I mean, I would like to see San Fran win too. I really think I like both teams. I'd be happy for whichever team wins. I think it'll be a great game. Whichever team loses, I'll be like whatever. But
yeah. So 4 years ago, rematch. Back then it was Jimmy G, but it was still Shanahan.
Yeah, Shanahan versus Reed.
So apparently, last 3 games, the Chiefs have beat the 49ers. Andy Reid, I'm pretty sure, is undefeated against Shanahan. Chiefs have covered the spread every single time they've played the 49ers. And I forgot what the over-under was. But Andy Reid has had Shanahan's number. Do you guys feel like that's going to change? Do you think the 49ers win this game? To be fair, he had Jimmy G last time, and Brock Purdy looks a lot better than Jimmy G.
It's tough because I think
And
like San
McCaffrey,
Fran
of course.
has
What's the spread?
San Fran's
It
minus
started at 3, and then it went down to 1.5. I think it's up to 2.5 now.
I just know immediately somebody was pounded Kansas City's spread and money line. That shit dropped so fast.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's tough because San Fran obviously has the better role players and skill players around Purdy. But I think Andy Reid's the better coach. I think Mahomes is obviously the better quarterback. And then I think a big difference could be Harrison Butker is the best kicker in football. And Jake Moody's missed kicks the last 2 weeks. He's a rookie. He hasn't been great. I think that could play a huge role, and that makes me lean towards the Chiefs. But it definitely can go either way. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be close, but give me Mahomes, give me the better coach, give me the better kicker.
What about you?
Oh, I like the Niners.
Do you think the Niners are going to win?
I do.
Do you think it's going to be like a low-scoring game? Or
I think it's going to be high-scoring.
I think I'm like against both of you guys. I think the Chiefs are going to win by 10 points.
You're going to dominate?
Yeah.
They have they have a top 5 playoff defense of all time going.
I think it's after 2000.
Oh, it's after
But
2000?
it might have been all time too. I brought this up on the Tank Talk podcast yesterday. I forgot what the graphic said, but yeah,
The Ravens
top
shit was crazy.
Or even like 5.8 points or something.
Wait,
But-
what?
When the year the Ravens win the Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer, their opponent's average is like 5.8
points a game in the
Holy
playoffs.
fuck.
But the Chiefs are like top 5 in that
They're
category.
like at
So
like 13 something.
even though San Fran's supposed to have just as good as a defense, it has not played that way towards the end of the year and into the playoffs, to where the Chiefs, most points they gave up all year was to the Packers. Nothing they could do. But they haven't given up 30, I don't think, all year. They literally have probably they ended up having like the best defense in the league, really.
I think I'm going to go. The reason I like the 49ers is just like you said, Andy Reid owns Shanahan.
Yeah.
They always win, top 5 defense since 2000. They always cover. But you're telling me the 49ers just opened up as a favorite?
Well, Mahomes was the underdog in last year's Super Bowl. He was the underdog in his last 2 playoff games this year. For whatever reason, Vegas continues to disrespect Kansas City and Mahomes. I don't think the spread is wrong. I think
It's
San
just
Fran
because
has to
it's
be
on-
favored. They're the
on
better
paper,
team.
yeah.
Yeah. There's no way a team that has the Avengers, is what they're called, is going to be an underdog. They still have as good as a defense if it plays up to its potential.
Hey, give my son Purdy a bull.
But you saw what Brock Purdy said, though, about building the best NFL team?
No.
He said he would take every single 49er and put Josh Allen at quarterback. That was pretty
my
cool,
son.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
So the Chiefs defense completely shut down the Dolphins. Obviously, we scored 24 against them, but it was a tough 24.
Yeah, it was like 12
they-
drives, 10-minute drives.
They made us change our offense so much that if the Bills won that game, I was going to be so happy to see that they finally made adjustments, because we completely played that game offensively differently than we played offense all year, and it worked for us up to a point, and then they just made adjustments that we could not deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Spagnuolo is fucking unbelievable. And I just feel like the 49ers have been bailed out. Like we've talked about this the past couple of weeks. They've been bailed out by inexperienced. I wouldn't say inexperienced because Goff isn't an inexperienced. They've been bailed out by mistakes.
Yeah.
Like inexperience with the Packers. They only win by 3 against the
Jordan
youngest
Love
team in
throwing
the NFL.
a ball that he hasn't thrown all year
On first down in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. The
with 3 timeouts left.
yeah.
Dan
and then
Campbell obviously gambling in a crazy way on these 4th downs.
plus the dropped interception turned touchdown.
Yeah.
Josh Reynolds drops 2 balls.
And maybe
I think
maybe that's a
Amon-Ra
sign
dropped
that
one.
San Fran is going to win. Like everything's just going, the bounces are going their way.
I think that's the opposite. I think that the Chiefs have been here too often. They're not going to make those mistakes. Like I mean, I guess Rashee Rice has been playing really well. Scantling's been playing really well. Maybe they like revert back to being a rookie, and Scantling reverts back to like dropping the ball. But Travis Kelce wasn't who he was all year, and then he comes in and he's just Travis Kelce again in the playoffs, breaking records. Mahomes is not going to make those throws that not those throws, that one throw that really ended the game for the Packers that Jordan Love made. I just, with how good their defense is, it's not like they can go down 21-7 and then be like, okay, defense, make adjustments, shut down the other team, and now we're just going to come rolling back.
Right.
I just don't, and this is no hate towards Brock Purdy. I was big upping him on Tank Talk yesterday, and I big upped him last week on this podcast. I just don't know if he can walk into a Super Bowl and deal with that defense.
Yeah, I think it depends how he starts. If he plays the way he played the first half of the last 2 games, I think it'll be a blowout. But if he comes out confident and comfortable, I think San Fran, it'll be a great game at that point. But I do believe if they go down 2 scores, yeah, they're done. I mean, the Chiefs ain't losing.
Like, I think Snead deserved the All-Pro spot that Ward got. Ward has been not the best all year. He's had good games and he's had bad games. If the 49ers are gonna win, I think it's gonna be they have to lean on McCaffrey. Like, McCaffrey has to have some huge game, win Super Bowl MVP. We showed that the only weakness of the Chiefs was their run defense. Like, they made the adjustments in the second half and it didn't work as well, but we still ran for 180 yards on them. Maybe if the Ravens had a better game plan, they're in the Super Bowl right now. They only ran the ball 6 times.
Yeah. I mean, Kansas City also can't if McCaffrey's running on them and they do make adjustments the way they did against you guys, Purdy will just pick them apart because he has Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, Juwan Jennings, to where it's a little bit easier to defend the Bills at that point. Diggs ain't doing anything. Gabe Davis is out.
They made those adjustments. We took advantage of it, and Diggs has dropped the ball.
Yeah.
So
to where San Fran's gonna if you're gonna give them stacked boxes, they're just gonna quick throw to Debo, shit like that, Kittle. Yeah, they have so many different ways to beat you. So I do think it just all comes down to how comfortable Purdy is early on. If he makes mistakes and plays lousy the way he did the last 2 weeks in the first half, then yeah, they're gonna get into a hole that they're not gonna get back out of.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of would be surprised if the 49ers won. I mean, we just see Shanahan come up short in the Super Bowl. So good, makes the Super Bowl, and then comes up short all the time. Purdy being basically a step above a rookie, going against that defense. Like I said, if the 49ers win, the defense needs to play how they've been playing in the fourth quarter for the entire game, and they have to do that against Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
which does happen. I mean, you look at Mahomes. I don't think really did much in the fourth quarter versus the Bills. He didn't do anything in the second half versus the Ravens. You can stop the Chiefs' offense.
Well, Mahomes. I mean, he got the ball on that turnover and then almost scored, but Hardman fumbled.
Yeah, and that's Andy Reid's fault or whoever's fault thought that this man that belongs in the XFL.
They just find ways to get it done.
Had a red zone touch when you got Isaiah Pacheco. Hilaire ran for 30-something yards on a play. Mahomes is crushing. You give the ball to Hardman. Then, yeah, I mean, you're going to fumble. That's something that I would expect Shanahan to do. McCaffrey come out the game and they do a reverse to, Ray McLeod or something. That's, I guess, if that happens, then God bless. But, yeah, I'm not saying that's Mahomes' fault that they didn't score, but that's the team's fault. That was just stupid.
I just think the gap at the most important parts of playoff football, quarterback, is enormous. Mm-hmm. That's not disrespected towards Purdy, but it's still an enormous gap.
You call him George Purdy?
It's not disrespect towards.
Oh,
George.
You call him George Purdy?
Enormous gap there.
Don't bring his dad into this.
I wouldn't say an enormous gap, huge gap in coaching, but you still have the gap. I think Andy Reid's better than Shanahan. And then defensively, they have the bigger names on the 49er side, but with how they've been playing and the defensive coaching is far better on the Chiefs side.
And kicking, man.
And kicking. We've seen, we've talked about it all postseason. It's it comes down when you have these teams that are ultimately this good. It comes down to a couple plays, and if you have a fucking rookie kicker, that could be the play.
Yeah, who's missed kicks recently?
Yeah,
Bucker doesn't ever miss.
So I'm going to put in a bet where I literally put the spread to -7. I'm not gonna put a ton of money on it, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, just to get some odds.
I'm gonna put some money on the under because I think a lot of people are gonna smash the over. I'm gonna put some money on the under. I'm going to put some money on McCaffrey scoring 2 touchdowns because if they do win, that's how it's going to be.
He'll probably just score 2 anyways. That dude.
Yeah.
That dude's unreal.
I think the 49ers are going to clap their shit.
I feel like that's impossible. I mean, it could happen, but
I think the only way it was ever possible was the Bucs had the most dominant defense in the league that year, and the Chiefs had the most depleted offensive line of all time.
They had trash cans out there,
and it's I just don't see otherwise how.
What ended up being the score of that game?
31-9.
Yeah.
I just don't see how the Chiefs could ever be blown out.
I don't know about blown out. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant by 7 or 10.
That defense.
Even that's a blowout to me though. Unless it's the Chiefs are down 3 and Mahomes throws a pick 6 at the end trying to force a last second throw. I just don't see a game where San Fran just comfortably beats them. I feel like they'll be on the edge of their seats no matter what.
I'll give you guys a lock though if you want it. Kittle touchdown.
You think so?
He's scoring for sure.
I don't know, Nick Bolton or whoever's going to be on him is going to make that very tough. Chiefs' defense is so good.
Snead's going to – and another thing is, Debo's going to be playing in the game, but like if Snead can take away Debo like he's taken away basically everyone else.
Well, what's nice about Debo is you can get the ball in his hands
Other
different ways. So,
but I'm just saying, like he kind of like they're, and it's tough to say because I've been calling McCaffrey the MVP all year, but like Debo really is. It's like how Curry's obviously the best player, but Draymond, like every time they lose Draymond, like they just don't move the same.
Yeah.
Like that's how CMC's the best player, but when like Debo, that playbook I feel like is drawn a lot around Debo.
No, it is.
And if Snead can lower that factor, I just think they match up well. It's like, and then even on the other side, of course you have Ayuk, but I love McDuffie. He's one of the guys I wanted the Bills to draft.
People don't realize them drafted ahead of you guys to get McDuffie was one of the best moves that will be made in like the next 20 years because you guys were rivals. You guys are in each other's way of Super Bowls. And getting McDuffie compared to Elam is a big reason for the Chiefs' success compared to the Bills.
Yeah.
Like it is crazy. Like that was a hell of a move by them. Yeah, I do like Kittle too though. Like I do think Kittle's going to have a big game. He's one of those guys, like, with the video coming out that he said, I will be back with a vengeance. And, like, somehow, you know, I mean, he might not even score. He could just get 7 for 120 or something. There's other ways for him to impact the game. But, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, as the game gets closer, I think we should all release, like, a video of our favorite Super Bowl bets on TikTok. But I don't know, man. I just have a feeling.
Mahomes hasn't ran a touchdown in this year. I thought he was going to do it versus Baltimore. He got down to like the 5. So I think he's going to run one in this game. I think he ran one in the first time they played, too, in the Super Bowl.
I've smoked the last 2 Super Bowls. It's wild.
Like winning?
Yeah. I've gotten like 2 touchdown scores right, like the winners right.
Who was the quarterback when they played last for the 49ers?
Garoppolo.
I don't know, man. I'm hoping.
That's the big difference is San Fran has Brock Purdy and McCaffrey now.
I'm really, really, really praying for like a close game. Even if I lose a couple bucks on it.
It should be close. It's the 2 best teams. They've been the best teams, and that just is what it is.
Last year was great, except like it kind of ended on like it was like a great game and then ended on like
that game was phenomenal.
A weird like finish. But I just remember like growing up, like we had like 5 back-to-back Super Bowls that were just like classics. Like you had the fucking both of the Giants-Patriots games. You had the Steelers-Cardinals game. You had
the Giants-Patriots games were ass, though. They just had great finishes. Like the Steelers-Cardinals was mad.
Steelers-Cardinals good all game. The fucking and then I mean obviously a little bit later, but with the Eagles and the Patriots game,
that was great.
There's just
because even with like the Bengals-Rams game was a great finish, but that game was kind of ass.
It was like it started out good, and then like the middle quarters, it was just like, oh, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah, like all of a sudden, Cup can't do
nothing. At the beginning, he does.
Yeah, the Rock came out and shit.
Yeah,
like,
he was like on the field. He was like,
finally,
let's get ready to rumble.
I kind of hate the Rock.
He's going to WrestleMania. He's fighting Roman Reigns for the title.
Is he?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't watch that show.
This is a WWE podcast now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Chiefs are gonna do it.
What makes you think like San Fran's gonna win by 7 to 10 points?
I don't know. For some reason, that's just what I see. I don't know. I can't explain it.
No, you don't know why. It's just what you feel is gonna happen. I mean, like I said, they have much better receivers.
They got McCaffrey.
They have McCaffrey.
Brock Purdy's like plays well. Their defense is good. Their offensive line's good.
Their offensive line just has also not been playing the best in the postseason.
I just think I just think that it's the Super Bowl now. I think everyone's gonna tighten up. I think Shanahan's gonna be on him. He always falls short. How many times can you get there and just fall short?
Well, yeah,
Andy Reid found a way to do it like 7 times with the Eagles.
I guess.
But he made, 2 Super Bowls with the Eagles?
He made 1 Super Bowl and 6 straight NFC championships and made 1 Super Bowl. Like, he found a way to keep losing.
Yeah.
Which is why when people say he's the GOAT, I disagree because he needed Patrick Mahomes to become the GOAT, which is fine. Like, you need a good quarterback to be a great coach. But, yeah.
So, this is a sidebar, but I think it's a good conversation. Cool. Like, right? That's a good argument. He went to the 6 AFC or NFC championships, only won 1. But at the same time, he has now the GOAT or one of the GOATs, a guy who's going to be in that conversation. Belichick had Brady, though, that entire time. And to be fair, when they beat the Eagles, it probably wasn't like Brady. Like the Eagles and and that would have to be a conversation. The Panthers and the Rams game, I think it was like mostly defense. Mm-hmm. I guess the Eagles game is probably when we started to see Brady become Brady.
Yeah.
But Belichick without Brady has been awful.
Right.
Like, he didn't do anything with the Browns. He's obviously hasn't done anything since Brady's been gone. I still think it was amazing that he dragged that team to the playoffs even once.
Yeah.
But at least with Reed, he was succeeding with Donovan McMahon was a good quarterback, arguably great quarterback, but he was never in that conversation.
No, not in the GOAT, but he was definitely one of the best every year, and they had some of the best defensive players.
But how much of that is on Andy Reid? I mean, and then you look at Alex Smith, who kind of was a failure. He was looked at as a bust, one of the worst number 1 picks ever, and then he had a couple good years under who's the 49ers coach before he went to the Chiefs?
Wasn't it Harbaugh?
Harbaugh. Yeah. So and then the Chiefs were decent with Alex Smith, and we've seen him win games with dude from last year. Came in the playoff game.
Oh, Henne.
Baltimore's coach was
Chad Henne.
the 49ers coach?
No,
his brother. He beat him in the Super Bowl in the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Reed's always been there though. The Reed has never. I think they said he's never had a defense or an offense that was worse than 15th, and he's always been there. He's always been in the AFC or NFC championships. He's been to all these Super Bowls, and now he's won.
Then Mike
2.
Tomlin should be in that conversation because he's been to 3 Super Bowls and he's never had a losing season, and he does it with Duck fucking Hodgins and.
Yeah, I mean.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying any of those dudes should be.
But his peak was by far with Roethlisberger. He never.
But that's what I mean.
Did he make any AFC championships
quarterback
without Roethlisberger?
and coach that you need that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is Reed did it with multiple.
Well, yeah,
people,
but I'm saying
teams.
McNabb was still MVP candidate every year. Alex Smith was still good. Pickett, Rudolph, Duck Hodges, those dudes suck.
Smith was in the field with Pickett.
No, dude, he went to the NFC Championship with San Fran.
Yeah, with Harbaugh.
Yeah,
but before that, he was like in that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we got to see where Pickett's career ends up before we could compare the two. But I'm just saying, like, Reed has had more success, but he's had way better teams offensively than Tomlin's had since Big Ben's been gone. I'm saying,
yeah,
since Big Ben's been gone, Pittsburgh sucks, and they win games. I would say because of Tomlin. And
I agree. Defense. I'm not hating.
Obviously,
on
T.J. Watt too, but I'm just saying, like, it's not like Pittsburgh shouldn't have been in the playoffs last year. Like, that's not a good. Like,
Tomlin
Mason Rudolph shouldn't just be in there.
He only got that one Super Bowl though, right? The first one was Cowher.
No, Tomlin's won 2, I thought, or was it Big Ben that won
2
3?
They won 2 with Big Ben. They went.
Yeah,
to
then
3.
They went to 3. Did Tomlin win two?
No,
or no,
Cowher won the first one and then he retired.
Oh, so Tomlin only has 2 appearances.
Yeah, and then one win. I could be wrong, but I'm almost 99% sure.
No, he's won 2.
He's won 2.
Yeah.
I'm
sorry. I didn't read it. He's as an assistant for Tampa Bay.
Wait, so did he even win the one? Or
Yeah,
he won the one
as the head coach of the Steelers, and then he lost to us. But that was funny. I was like, he's won 2 championships, and you keep reading. He's like, one is the assistant to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
No, I do think Tomlin will. I think Tomlin deserves to be on the edge of that conversation, and he's still a lot younger than Andy Reid, and they can do what he did. Like Andy Reid had.
Tomlin might
Andy
go to
Reid
another
got
team
fired.
like Reid. Yeah, like I could see Tomlin if
or
things don't
they
go
finally
well.
get a quarterback.
Yeah.
Or Kenny Pickett or one of these guys develops into that. Maybe he has that second run and gets that another 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and then he absolutely does deserve to be in the conversation.
The thing about Andy Reid, though, which I think he deserves a lot of credit as well, is his development of Brett Favre as well, like going to the 2 Super Bowls. And
he was the OC under home.
Yeah, and Brett Favre obviously always gave him a lot of praise. So I guess when you take that into consideration before what he did before the Eagles, his whole body of work. What Belichick, did he get a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator with the
maybe.
Giants? Was it? Or the Browns?
I think he was with the Giants and he was with Parcells, right? He was his defensive coordinator. I don't know if he was with the Eagles. I just remember first head coaching job was Browns. They weren't good. I mean, they were kind of good by Browns standards.
But didn't he win the Super Bowl with the Giants against the Bills? Or no?
It's a great question.
Whatever, it don't matter. But I think a lot of that also goes into like your overall resumes, like what you did as a coordinator as well with certain teams. And Reid and Belichick probably both have that.
Yeah, I mean, if they were
and
forced,
obviously Tomlin does too.
If they were forced to not get head coaching jobs, they would probably be the greatest offensive and defensive coordinators of all time as well. I don't know. It was a good conversation, good sidebar. I don't even know how it started, but
I mean, if Reid gets this Super Bowl as well, and then he had how many would he have? 3? I mean, he's getting there.
Half of Belichick.
Yeah, but he's not done yet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see why the Chiefs don't win next year and the year after that too. Like, if they had with their cap, don't they have a really good cap situation going?
I don't see how they would.
I feel like all
Who do
their
they
players are
have?
rookies and shit.
Yeah, who do they have?
They don't have anybody good.
Mahomes and Kelsey.
Yeah, I think they'll probably get like
That's
Mike Evans and
unbelievable.
T. Higgins.
And they get Mike Williams, T. Higgins, and Mike Evans.
But I
and
mean,
Gabe
so we
Davis.
got to see where
And
it fills out.
We got to see this. Oh man, I wish we.
Pittman.
I could see Gabe Davis going to Kansas City. I think that'd be hilarious.
That'd be mad funny.
Just
huh?
smoke your guy shit. That shit would be wild.
See
7
who?
touchdowns.
Gabe Davis go to the Chiefs.
I got to see Chiefs cap space. Oh my god,
It's good, isn't it?
$52 million they have to spend.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure my cousin told me, he's like, the crazy part is right now about the Chiefs is this is probably their worst team they're going to have in the next 5 years.
And the crazy thing is their cap hit for Mahomes is already in. Like they're getting $10 more million in cap hit this year than we are for Josh Allen next year.
Oh my
So the
God.
rest of their team, they are literally only paying Mahomes. They paid Joe Tooney 27.
And he's hurt that's a big injury.
Jawan Taylor 25. Travis Kelce 16, which is a fucking steal.
Yeah, because
Like
he's
a
got all
steal,
these
'cause
commercials. You know how
we're
much he's making
paying-
off those Pfizer commercials?
We're paying fucking Stephon Diggs $11 million more, and he's breaking records, and Diggs is
Yeah,
getting less
that's
than 25
wild.
yards. Scantling getting 14 is nuts, but other than that, well, Chris Jones they're gonna have to sign. They're gonna have to if they're gonna keep him, he's gonna make like probably 25. But yeah, dude, I mean McDuffie's contract, they got him for another 2 years. Karlaftis was the same draft, right?
Mhm.
They got him for another 2 years.
What about Creed Humphrey?
He's only at 2. Is he up? But even
'Cause
with
he'll
the guys,
get paid, Snead will get paid.
even with the guys that are up for contracts, are like they're still gonna have a lot of money.
Yeah,
Like-
because
like
you
they
look at their
only have
players
2
like
or 3
Pacheco,
guys.
Raji Rice.
Well, where's Snead at on here?
They can go scuba good receiver.
Oh, Snead might be a.
in my opinion, Pittman,
I think.
Evans, or Higgins, 100%. I can't see Higgins going to Kansas City because he hates them. But
I just seen something like that. Did he re-sign with the Bengals already?
mm-mm.
I was seeing like maybe it was like a contract.
like a rumor,
No,
like
not
an
a
offer.
Yeah, like a contract offer. I guess there's a different word that I can't think of. So
Yeah, like I believe they'll get Pittman or Mike Evans.
All right,
would be
so
my guess.
but like Justin Reed will be a free agent.
I mean, yeah, every team loses good players. Like there's no
so
doubt
Snead,
about that.
so Snead will be a free agent. So if they keep Snead, they keep Chris Jones. They're gonna have a lot less than that 55 million.
Yeah,
But they're
but
still
they're-
in a lot better situation.
They're
than
still scooping Mike Evans or Michael Pittman.
one of them. Yeah.
And maybe Gabe Davis for cheap.
I don't know, man.
It's gonna
all
be
these.
sick.
This is fucking unbelievable. We just gotta drive. Like that's like
And they'll be drafting as well.
who is their GM? Why does he not like? Why is he not as famous as Howie Roseman?
He just chills.
This dude is paying Patrick Mahomes $60 million a year and still has $55 million to spend next year.
Because they've been
and might
crushing
win.
these drafts. Dude, Nick Bolton, McDuffie, Snead,
Karlaftis.
Karlaftis, Pacheco, Raji Rice. I mean, they're hitting everywhere. Creed Humphrey. I'm pretty sure we took Josh Myers a pick before Humphrey, and then Humphrey went the next pick. Which Josh Myers is good, but Humphrey's the best.
Yeah, he's like.
If Jason Kelce retires, he's the best.
he might already. Be
He
the
might be
best.
the best. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
I thought Jason Kelce did say he was retiring. Oh no.
You know what? Adam Schefter like ruined it for him, so he's probably gonna come back just like he did with fucking Tom Brady and shit. That dude fucking sucks.
it's his job though.
No, it's not. It's not. I want like it's not his job.
It's his job.
It's not his job.
He's gotta report it first.
Listen, we do not. Okay, maybe it is his job. I'm not his fucking boss. That was a weird thing to say. But we do not need. For certain things, yeah. If you want to be the first guy to free agency signing, dope.
He's
Like
a
I want to
journalist.
know about free agency signing immediately, right?
If it was you though, you would be doing the same thing.
No, I don't see the point.
You would do
ESPN
it.
I don't.
probably
so
pays
if
them
they,
more
if they
because
told
he's that
me to,
good.
yes. If ESPN was like, we want
They
that
definitely
info,
do. You think ESPN cares that Jason Kelsey's mad about his retirement?
But
They're
why
happy.
does it
It gives them
matter?
so much TV, publicity. It's huge for them.
I just don't. I don't see why. I hate as a fan that I hate when the draft picks are announced before they're announced on
Yeah,
TV.
that shit. I hate people who go on
don't
Twitter and
see
look
the
at that
point.
shit.
Like I understand like first person to the injury report, first person to the free agency report, but like why does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
If we know Jason Kelce is retiring today versus we know he's retiring in 1 month,
his job.
what does it matter?
Yeah, I mean, the retirement shit, I guess, doesn't matter because he's just going to be retired.
It's still reported.
You know, the crazy shit is, off
At
topic
least
real
let
quick,
You would do it.
I would.
If I was told to do it, of course I would.
You want to be the first.
Yeah,
You want to break the news. That's what a journalist is. You would do it. You're literally a journalist.
I don't. And
You're
I,
an
and
enemy. You are the enemy always.
But
People are
he's
gonna
a
hate
journalist.
you.
Literally.
I don't.
You would do it. You know that.
Yes, if my boss told me to do it, yes, I have to do it. I
He's not
just
gonna be
don't
like-
see the point.
But I'm saying.
How do these dudes know?
There's like stories about Adam Schefter. I feel like 20 years from now, when it doesn't matter and he's already retired, like there's stories and nothing has been concrete that he literally
hacks phones and shit.
No, that he like bullies like say the kind of reporter I was, right? I was local. I was obviously not NFL, but let's say I get promoted to NFL team. I'm getting the scoop because I'm there every single day. He'll literally like bully those guys and be like, I can ruin your career. Like, give me the scoop.
It's crazy because he seems like such a nice guy too.
None of that has ever been proven, but like there's been like
It's got to be something.
been that like
Man, what's that dude's name? He held Vanilla Ice over to
Suge Knight.
Suge Knight. He's the Suge Knight of the reporter.
Yeah.
Hey, Rappaport ain't going for that shit though. He's pretty good.
He is good.
Well, that's because he can't. He's like, even though he's not as big as Schefter, he's like, fuck you. You can't blackball me. I work for the NFL, basically. But there's been stories like that.
It's got to be something. There's no way this dude just always got the report.
You can't
Jason
have
Kelsey
that many...
didn't even know if he was retiring yet, and Schefter knew
he knew the conversation.
Yeah.
That's why it has to be a reporter
he has
within
phone
there.
taps and all these wires in their houses when Kelsey was talking to his wife and shit.
Yeah, I
Schefter
think
was
I'm gonna retire.
Just don't work.
Schefter's like, well, Jason Kelsey will not return to the Eagles next year. He is retiring.
But yo, do you guys remember when Tom Brady retired? I'll never forget. I was in this the taco place on Military, and they had CNN on. It was the coverage of I think whatever was going on with ISIS at the time or some shit. And it was like breaking news. I'm like, oh shit, we're going to war. It was like Tom Brady retires. That dude is the GOAT for that. That shit was wild. They literally stopped talking about us going to war to say that Tom Brady retired. I'll never forget that shit.
Fucking someone shoots
shit's
the
bigger
president
than
of the
war.
United States and they just like cut the coverage of it.
Yeah.
And they're like, Tom Brady has retired from the NFL.
Dude, it was crazy. I'll never forget that. I couldn't believe it. Literally, CNN just breaking news. Just cuts off and says Tom Brady retired from the league.
I mean, the sports are more real than fucking politics these days. It's so who
They're all
cares?
fucking rigged.
Everything's rigged.
Even Tom Brady came back from retirement after that.
He's like, fuck you, CNN. You
Yeah.
can't ruin my shit. I want to announce it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's about it, man. Super Bowl coming up. Can't wait. I'm
You
hoping
guys
for a
got some
classic.
squares?
Nah, I don't fuck with squares.
Yeah,
Because you know
I
what
got
I
some
hate more
squares.
than anything? Paying $100 and then it's like you get like 2 and 9,
Yeah.
and then it's like that's just ruined for me. I just feel like I wasted $100. I'm not even like looking for 2 and 9 to happen at that point.
Would you be happy if you got 1-0?
Yeah,
The last time I did it's weird. I haven't done one since, but I did 1-0. It was $1,000 for every score change, and the
score
five
change.
So,
So like,
touchdown 6-0 gets 1,000. Extra point 7-0 gets 1,000
how the fuck? Tell me how do you have that much money?
because it's
the
$1,000
pot.
to get in.
It's still, I feel like that's not
Then
adding up.
the remaining balance goes to the final score.
Oh, so there's not like a legit.
Yeah, there was no
Oh,
quarter.
okay.
There's no.
All right.
Yeah, all right. So Damian Williams breaks the touchdown. They make the extra point. I win the 1,000, and then I won 11. I won 10,000 more because it was the final.
That's fire.
It was crazy. I haven't done a Super Bowl square since it was the last time these teams played. I just retired off that. I was like, that shit was sick. Come on.
I legit
That shit
feel
was
like
lit.
just because I was bitching about 2 and 9, like if I go get a square and I get like 3-0, 1-0, 7-3, the end score will be 2 and 9.
Well, the way the game's changed in the extra points, 33 yards. Now you got guys like Dan Campbell in the league. Those scores are they're
possible,
still
yeah.
shitty, but back in the day, you were never getting those scores without like a safety.
Yeah.
Now you can get those scores. Dan Campbell's going for 2 from his own 20 and shit. Like he don't give a fuck. Like you can get weird scores now because of the missed extra points. Then teams start going for 2. Like a lot of different shit happens.
Yeah.
What's that? Hates kicking it.
What'd you say? What?
He
My
said he
son,
hates
he's
kicking it.
I hate Dan Campbell.
Nick Campbell?
Dan Campbell.
Oh, George Purdy.
George Purdy?
Nick Campbell and Nick Campbell is the coach of the San Francisco 69ers, and the quarterback is George Purdy.
Alternate
All right,
timeline.
that's that should be it, man. Draft season starts after next week.
NBA playoffs for fantasy starts next week. You won't be a part of it, but me and Joe will. Good luck. You did better this year, bro. You
I
just
don't
put a
fuck-
little bit more time
No,
in.
I don't like it.
You understand the scoring a little
I
bit
don't even
more.
like it. Even in the league I'm doing, where I'm second in points, I've lost 6 in a row. Like I just hate it.
Yeah, but you didn't understand the scoring in my league. It still almost made the playoffs.
Yeah, but still, it's like Damon and them were saying, like the underman shit.
Yeah,
the
but
you look at your lineup at 12 and fucking this guy's going to start, and then 5 o'clock they announce he's not out or he's not playing, and then you leave some guy on the bench and he gets 0, and now the guy on the bench scores 30. And I don't – it's not that I don't enjoy it. I don't think I like it to the point that I want to pay $150 to do it.
Right.
At least with fantasy football, I'm way more confident in myself. I'm way more confident that it is a potential investment. I just don't think I'm ever going to jump like you and Russ. Like, I'm never going to be the – like, there's going to be days where I just don't look at my lineup.
Yeah, no,
like,
I mean, I get it.
And it's – that's just going to happen. I set my lineup on Monday to make sure I don't
I started doing that too, but I was already 9-0.
The underman shit that Damon talks about, definitely there is weeks where you're just going to be out, man. I remember when I first played you, I told you I noticed no matter what I do, you were going to have me by a lot of games. But I noticed guys like Damon, and I don't care what – they don't have to admit it. I watch what they do. They pick a guy up, and I'll go to their team, and that dude will be on the bench, or he'll be in the starting lineup, and somebody else will be on the bench. You have 4 moves. You have to make them, unless it's a guy that, like, say, like Steph Curry gets injured and you want to go pick up his backup.
Yeah.
And it's a long-term investment. Other than that, your 4 moves need to be guys who fit your lineup every single time that guy plays. So you need to go look. If you're picking up fucking McBride from the Knicks, he better play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday or something, all 4 days that you have an open spot. That's 4 games you're adding into your lineup. And you do that 4 times, that's 16 games you added into your lineup. If you pick up a guy who plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you did nothing for yourself because everybody plays Monday, Wednesday, Friday usually. That's the key to it. Guys like Milk, guys like Russ, not only do they do that, they're looking ahead. They're like, okay, this dude's going to fit in my lineup for a month now because the Knicks play
I don't have the capacity. Like, how are they doing that? Are they opening up a
There's a site for it.
calendar?
There's like a grid and shit, like a schedule grid. You can see all the teams.
So you just drag them in and it shows what days he's playing?
Yeah, I mean, what I personally do is I look for a guy that I want to pick up, and then I just look at his schedule for a couple weeks.
You could look right on the app.
Yeah, you could look on the app too, but it only goes so far.
It only goes like 6 days or something.
I remember the one year Milk was making trades because he already had like a playoff spot clinched up. He was like looking like, should I trade Curry for say like De'Aaron Fox, even though Curry might be better, but if Fox plays more of the playoff weeks by a game, he'll try to make that move.
Yes, I just don't. At that point, it just feels like work, man. Like,
and that I do understand. I just say that. Don't say like, oh, I'm outmanned. It's like there is things to do about it. Some weeks you are outmanned.
One of the things I said is I don't have time. You were like, it takes 3 minutes. That does not take 3
minutes.
Oh,
no, I was talking about to set your lineup and shit. Like you were talking about Cade Cunningham was out the one day. It literally said 1 day ago, Cade Cunningham's out.
No, I looked at that day and it said out, and it said the next chance for him to play is tomorrow.
But whatever, when I screenshot to you to make fun of you, it literally said a day ago.
Yeah, but I set my lineup and he was out, and then like when I looked at it, it's not like they sent me that notification. I would have to re-look, which I could do, and that does take 30 seconds. But
you can just look at like 6:30 and see what's good.
That's what I do. I usually look at about 6:30.
But I work 3 to 11, and if I'm at a busy, I'm not like looking at.
No, I get it.
I don't know. I just don't like it as much. Like, I got out of baseball years ago for that same reason because they pushed back a pitcher. The only way they can do it, unless they update it from this year to next year, the only way they do it is what Aaron was saying.
Yeah, I hope that they upgrade it.
Yeah, it was.
Or
really
look, I'll find something. I'll find Yahoo, CBS. There's got to be a way where you can't just have a guy on IR that's playing at 10 p.m. and then the first game starts at 7 and it's just locked. Like there's definitely ways we can improve the league, but we have to get off ESPN. Because they have stupid settings.
And they won't change it.
Yeah.
And I really want to do USFL, XFL.
Yeah, I'm
now
down.
that they're merged. Do you guys remember me saying that last year?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't see why they don't merge. 8 teams means nothing. At least 16 teams, there's like competition. And then you have enough players to do fantasy.
Yeah.
If there's no fantasy involved, you're fucked. Half of the NFL fans don't even care about the NFL.
Oh,
they
yeah,
care
for
about
sure.
fantasy.
Bets and fantasy run the shit.
So I've like Googled it. I didn't see any like legit websites yet. I'm praying like sleeper downloads.
I bet you what's it called? Fan Tracks or whatever we used to do college on would probably have it.
That'd be fire.
Yeah. I kind of want to do a college one too, but anyway, yeah, so next week we'll break down the Super Bowl, and then we'll start fucking draft season pretty soon after that. I mean, what is it, April? April's the draft.
Yeah, we could get right into it.
And we got a lot of positions to break down, teams to break down. Do what we did last year, take 3 or 4 every week and see what they need and see who we draft for them. And, yeah, I mean, football season doesn't stop, but we'll be more NBA and college basketball, March Madness right around the corner.
We should get like a podcast bracket.
Yeah, we can do a podcast bracket. You guys got to collect the money. I'm done with it.
Well, I run my bracket every year. We can turn it into the podcast bracket. Ain't no cheap shit though. $50, get in there, win some money. You know what I mean?
Fuck it.
No $10 bracket where you got to beat 1 million teams. Just put up a couple $40 more. You only got to beat a
Couple $40
60,
more.
70 teams. I hate those $10 pools. Like, yeah, you can win the same amount in the 10 as the 50, but you got to beat 1 million more teams. And mine, usually I get like 50 to 60 people. I would like to get like 100 people. And then that's not hard to beat 100 people compared to 1,000.
Is that winner take all?
No, I mean, I usually pay out like, I think last year we had 50 people. We paid out like the top 5 or something.
Is that dude running those other ones still?
I haven't talked to him. I got to text him.
Yeah, I need that.
Yeah, those
I-
ones
I-
are fire.
want-
I want in there too.
I placed in the last two that I
Did you place last year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I won it or took second.
Yeah, I
I
don't
got 360. I don't know what that was.
Oh, definitely second
Yeah.
because the winner usually wins a couple grand. Those are I do like that one though.
That's
I didn't.
fun.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Furman.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Trap Nerd Sports Podcast everywhere. Go check out Tank Talk Super Show if you haven't already. I was on there yesterday. Yeah, Trap Nerd everywhere. We're getting bigger on the TikTok. We'll be starting to put some bets out there.
San Diego State under, even though you guys won't see this till tomorrow.
Well, no,
Just know that it'll hit.
We'll see. Maybe we'll get a video up before we get to dinner. I also want to start like stitching people who say dumb shit. And
Yeah, let's do some shit.
Let's get it going. All right, thank you guys for listening. Peace.
Peace.